everyone, welcome to Startup Street. Here's wishing all our viewers a very happy and prosperous Diwali. I'm Arundathi Ramanan and with me are both Ritu Singh and Shruti Mishra. These are the top headlines from the startup world. Walmart-backed PhonePe is in talks to raise a new round of funding led by General Atlantic at a valuation of $12 billion, more than twice the payments player's current valuation of $5.5 billion, according to a Money Control report.
Newly listed Delivery hits record low in trade today after issuing a subdued second quarter update, which said shipments will remain moderate in the second half of the year despite festive season sales, largely on account of inflation.
Silver Needle Ventures launches a 100 crore rupee fund, making its first investment in creator monetization platform Nourish. The fund aims to invest in pre-Series A and Series A rounds with a sectoral focus on B2B, SaaS, deep tech and others.
Personal hygiene and sanitary pad startup Soothe Healthcare bags 175 crore rupees in its latest funding round from US DFC, A91, Symphony, Sixth Sense and GII. The startup plans to use the fresh capital to reach more women in Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets.
Shares of Google, Twitter and Meta suffer a jolt after Snapchat forecasts zero revenue growth for the current quarter, indicating a less than favorable environment for social media companies reliant on advertising revenue.
American grocery delivery startup Instacart shelves its IPO plan for 2022 as the tech IPO market suffers its worst drought in 2 decades, as per a Reuters report. The news comes not long after the startup let go of 3,000 employees and slashed its valuation by 40% to $24 billion.
Well, those are the headlines we're tracking for you this evening. SaaS and B2B technology-focused growth stage investor Avataar Venture Partners has launched its latest fund with a target size of $350 million. The fund had its first close with marquee institutional investors from the US, Europe and the Middle East. Founded in 2019, Avataar has raised 2 funds prior to the new launch. And to talk about Avataar's investment thesis and its newly launched Fund 2, joining me now is Mohan Kumar, the managing partner of Avataar Venture Partners. Also joining us are the founders of 2 of its portfolio companies, or should I say portfolio unicorns, Sudhir Kuneru, founder and CEO of wellness and fitness SaaS unicorn Zenoti, and Bhaskar Subramanian, founder and CEO of media software unicorn Amagi. Gentlemen, welcome to Startup Street. Let me start with you, Mohan. And if you could talk to me about Avataar's Fund 2, you've already made your first close. How soon do you hope to reach your target of $350 million? And who are you in talks with?
Yeah, thanks, Shruti, for inviting us. We started raising fund around April. It's about 5 months. And so far, we have closed little north of 50% of the fund, the 350. We are actually talking to about 50 plus LPs across the globe, right? Primarily in Europe, Singapore, Hong Kong, and US. So we expect we will close the target by March 31st, 2023.
Okay. Mohan, Avataar's focus has been companies in the B2B tech and SaaS sectors. And I believe you've already started investing from this new fund. How many companies are you looking to invest in and what is the ticket size going to be?
Yeah, we have already invested in 1 company from the new fund, which is in the B2B space. And we are given, let's say, term sheet and diligence for 3 more. Okay? So by end of November, hopefully, we would have closed 4 deals from the new fund. I think it just goes back a little bit to what Avataar does. It comes in typically at Series C, Series D, and provide growth capital between 15 to 50 million in check size, and that's what we do.
All right, so $15 to $50 million is the check size. Now, let me now talk to your portfolio companies. So, the Zenoti became a unicorn despite pandemic headwinds to the spa, salon and the fitness chain business. In fact, today it powers more than 20,000 beauty, wellness and fitness businesses in 50 countries, including the 80% of the enterprise market globally. What has led to this bullish growth?
Yeah, I would say it was more about the diligence of choosing. We actually choose to only sell to large brands which have multiple stores. So these are well-established brands which are themselves growing, like they are growing, adding 20% more stores year over year. So the whole notion of making that choice very carefully, saying don't go sell your software to every single salon, single spa, because then the growth becomes very hard because you have to support so many single stores. But in our case, we really work with the largest brands, and that's where working with good investors helped us to really focus and say, just do this segment of the market, and I think you'll make it. And coming from India, I would say in India, we are really good in terms of talent in building software for large businesses. And I think that kind of worked very well for us from a strategy perspective.
Okay, so then you also claim you've made the Salor experience very Uber-like or Starbucks-like. If you could elaborate on the model, and also if you could take me through the current business growth numbers, what is the road to profitability looking like?
Yeah, so basically during the COVID time, I recollect everybody wanted to have no contact, no touch. And, so our whole Uber-like experience is all about saying, you book from your phone, you check in from your phone, you pay from your phone and walk away from the salon without contacting anything. And that really contributed to our growth because during COVID, everybody wanted to upgrade their technology in that sense. From a growth journey perspective, we've been growing year over year, last 3 years since COVID started, about 70% year over year. And that's, as I said, just the strategy of delivering the Uber-like experience. In terms of size and scale, our overall sales have crossed the 100 million kind of number. But we don't, of course, not yet publish any specific numbers about the business stuff there. But I think we hope to see sustained growth going forward.
Okay, all right. Let me quickly go to Bhaskar. Now, Bhaskar, Amagi helps media companies create, distribute and monetize streamed content across cable, satellite and over-the-top media service. Now, you turned unicorn in March this year. You very recently announced your operations in South Korea, which is foraying into the Northeast Asian market. Talk to me about your expansion plans and the kind of impact you hope to create there.
So fundamentally, I think Amagi is at a kind of a cusp of a transformation that's happening in a digital world today, right? So I think all of us have gone to consume content through streaming television. So that's the first big change that's happened in the whole model today. And because of which all of the factory of the content factory, what we call the back end of the whole infrastructure is changing. And this is a global phenomenon. It's nothing to do with a specific country, but really about the maturity of the infrastructure that's available. So essentially, we started in the US and we're starting to expand worldwide because it's a global problem. As streaming starts to happen, the business models are changing for all the content owners, creators, TV networks worldwide. That's been the big change. We're expanding across, as you've seen, Northeast Asia, part of the Asian context today. We've already done in Singapore, we've done Australia, we've done Germany, France, and obviously UK and US have been the largest markets for us. And we're expanding into Latin American as well, right? Okay. Over the next few months.
Yeah.
So essentially, it is a big expansion plan that we're really going after today.
Okay. Now, Amagi currently supports 700 plus content brands, 800 plus playout chains, and over 2,100 channel deliveries on its platform in over 40 countries. You are a profitable company. Talk to me about your future targets. Bhaskar, what is in the pipeline?
So essentially, I think it's a decade-long transformation that's starting to happen. I think we are at a very, very early phase of this transformation. The company is kind of starting to build out scale. Obviously, we're looking for acquisitions, tech tuck-ins, kind of look at how fast can we actually kind of expand from a market standpoint.
All right. Bhaskar, while the US is the biggest market for Amagi, accounting for about 74% of its revenues, and you're also headquartered in New York, but the domicile of the company is an India-based entity, and I believe every other overseas entity is a subsidiary of the Indian company as of today. Bhaskar, will you then look at listing in India? How soon do you plan to go for an IPO?
That seems to be the most probable choice.
Okay.
Given, yes, absolutely. That's one of the things to be discussing. It would be about 24 to 36 months from now. We need to kind of build out the scale that we want and continue to be profitable. And that sort of is the thought process. So I think it's 24 to 36 months away. And we would be listing in India as the current situation looks at that. That seems to be the most probable one.
All right. So 24 to 36 months is what Bhaskar is saying. But Sudhir, your plans of taking Zenoti to the public markets anytime soon?
Yeah, I would say probably, we think it's sometime in 2024 when we don't know, but we're more of a US-based company, so we would be looking at it in the US market.
All right. Okay. Sudhir, you partnered with Regis Corporation, a leader in the hair care industry, in June this year. How has the partnership worked out for you? Also, if you could talk to me about your future growth and expansion plans.
Yeah, and the Regis is a very big, it's one of the original founders of the salon chains in the country. And so they have more than 5,000 locations. So it gives us a different level of scale. That's worked very well. Of course, it's a different challenge to say, how do you switch 5,000 salons to move to Zenoti? It takes we have to do more than 400, 500 salons every week kind of migration. So big challenges there we continue to work towards. In terms of going forward growth-wise, I think, see, now that we have so much scale, as you said earlier, 20,000 plus and increasing very fast, we can do a lot of things for the, both the industry in general because of the data and access to data for our customers. And there is really catering to the providers in the industry. We have done a lot of work for the business and the consumer so that the experiences are nice. Now we are really focused on the provider and saying, how do we make their lives Uber-like?
Okay, all right. One final question for Mohan. Mohan, Avataar is a growth stage investor and we have almost come to the end of the year. How do you view the funding landscape next year, for growth stage startups in India and globally? What should founders focus on? And is it the end of the so-called funding winter?
I would say it's not a funding winter, more like an autumn.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a lot of money available, okay? And their money is waiting to put money in good companies. Okay? So if the company fundamentally is good, and what is fundamentally good has changed next year. For example, you are growing at 50%, that's fantastic. Are you also showing profitability, right? Or is your model converging that you don't need to keep raising cash for a long period of time, right? If these two holds good, I think money is valuable. So I would say founder focus, apart from growth, which has been the primary driver the last, I would say, 6-7 years, also to look at their unit economics and try to build a profitable company. That's what I would advise the founders to focus on.
All right, on that note, Mohan, it is time for us to wrap up this conversation. Wish you the very best for your fund too. And of course, Sudhir and Bhaskar, many thanks for joining us. Wish you all a very happy and safe Diwali.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You too.
Thank you.
All right, on that note, we have to take a very short break. But coming up next, we will put the spotlight on India's circular economy. We speak to Avataar, Fool Company and Relove on how they're helping India become more sustainable. Stay tuned for that conversation.